of the cars humanity has produced in the past century, few are better loved than the Porsche 911. Elegant, accessible, a thrill to drive, and ever evolving.
And yet, some say modern generations of Porsche 911s have now evolved to be a bit big, a bit heavy. Targas, turbos, cabriolets and soon a new GT3 have all grown a size or two and gained particulate filters muzzling their exhaust barks. However, there's nothing muzzling the 911 we have here. This one needs no diet and its voice is savage. See, this is a GT3 RS variant 997 and comes from the before time, the unrestricted analogue time, and today it shall be driven and enjoyed as the German sports car maker intended. And I think you should join me, Roger Bailey, to find out what old school 911 performance is all about.
And if you've never driven a car like this, which I guess is most people, well, I've made this video with you in mind. So, firstly, imagine this. Imagine walking up to this immaculate, vivid green, old school track car. Imagine being given the key by its kindly owner and being told, go and enjoy. Well, excitement builds, but then wait just a second. You see, the truth is, we only get to drive it on public roads, you know, roads with rules and roads occupied by ordinary cars. Well, the child in me likens this situation to being given the keys to, I don't know, say Disneyland, and then being told to hold back and go no further than the entrance gate. Exciting on the one hand, and yet also a feeling of being a bit shortchanged. Well, there's no shortchanging going on today because I have no intention of holding back, and I imagine today's challenge is going to be just keeping this venerable contender on the road, all legally of course. You'll see what I mean when we awaken one of Porsche Motorsport Division's finest offerings from the early 2000s. Firstly though, let's briefly recall the 997 GT3 RS's conception and consider for a moment its near siblings. First arrival was the 997 GT3, a groundbreaking performance car tuned to rip along public roads, meaning a bit of compliance and soundproofing was deliberately dialed into that design. And then came utter madness in the form of the Nürburgring record-smashing GT2 RS, which was described at the time as a legalised insanity delivered by those wacky people in Porsche Motorsport's department. And it was those same people who decided a GT3 RS was next required, and it should differ from the insane GT2 only by having a bit less horsepower, yet it should share everything else. Same high downforce, same lightweight parts, same suspension, so just a turbocharger and separation, dialed up throttle response and a shrieking exhaust noise put into that formula. And with that formula in mind, to look at this car today is to feel slightly intimidated. This is the first GT car to get a wide body, an essential escalation to accommodate 305 rear tyres, and to manage the highest ever downforces generated by a Porsche road car to date. The formula deleted many driver aids, supplanted by its lower body, rose jointed suspension setup and a race car derived cockpit. Oh, and for the first time in a GT3 RS we find adaptive dampers, a switchable sports exhaust and thankfully a little bit of traction control. And to crown it off, we have an unhinged 3.6 litre flat six engine, an engine built by Mezger, and that means something in the world of Porsche. See, Hans Mezger being that legendary engine builder chap responsible for making the most special, don't spare the cost, mighty and unburstable flat six Porsche race engines. And so we shall delay no longer in putting our Mezger engine into action. So get slotted into the low bucket seat, buckle up and twist the key to summon the beast, and twisting the key brings forth gear whines and rumbling cylinder sounds. Yet the first thing you notice when you move off in this 997.1 GT3 RS is its gearbox. The shift has a heavy, notchy action, which is slightly bothersome at first. A heavy clutch doesn't help matters either. Yet once up and moving, we acclimatise quickly to the gearbox, the clutch, and the rawness of everything, because this is clearly a very sweet and harmonious feeling car. And so now is the time to throw caution to the wind, and we're going to mash that throttle pedal. The scream of this engine at peak revs occupies not just the space between your ears, but every part of your body. It sort of chunters at idle, but clears its throat as the revs rise. There's a glorious resonance through the cabin between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM, and after that the note gets louder and harder. An aggressive howl drives you to thrash it to 8,000 RPM, time and time again. What we have here is a spine-tingling, glorious, race-bred engine possessed of extreme power and glory. It's all brilliant madness, and after the first few miles I'm wondering how to cope. However, one adapts to the heavy yet tactile driving controls, and once a few miles have blasted by, any fears of baits have been replaced by, well, intoxication. This is a car that actually blurs the line between hard-as-nails racer and composed fluid road car. A trick partially achieved by it weighing in at just over 1,370 kilograms thanks to carbon fibre body parts, plastic rear window and deletion of much of the soundproofing. And its 415 brake horsepower launches our racer to 0 to 60 time in just 4.2 seconds and onto a formidable 194 mph top speed. Compared with more modern GT cars, this 997 is a bit of a difficult car, ready to embarrass you every step along the way, and that's what makes it so rewarding. You've got to work to get the most out of it, but drive it well and it feels like it could keep up with any of the new crop of high-performance cars. And even though our GT3 RS is over a decade old, it's still rattle-free and screwed tightly together, and it seems this maturing scalpel of a car has become a standout favourite among many Porsche aficionados. And the market has acknowledged that this 997 car is a classic, which is not just all hype, it's already become an icon. Its high status abetted by just 1,106 examples being built for the entire world. And as this 997 GT3 RS was the last to offer manual transmission, hydraulic steering and that Mesger engine, what we are sampling here today is the real deal, a high watermark for the 997 generation and for Porsche 911s as a whole.
To some, this is just yet another Porsche 911, but drive the 997 GT3 RS and you will know just how utterly special it is. Raw yet delicate, capable but not dangerous, mighty and yet nimble. Time and tide has come a long way in a short time for today's modern 911, and should you ever be looking to spend some quality time in one of the finest ever driving machines from the previous era, the analogue era, well, this is your main contender, the magnificent Porsche 911 997 GT3 RS. So thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, please feel free to click the little like button, as doing so will tell YouTube to recommend more people to this channel, and comments are always welcome. I read every single one and I'll reply to most, and if you haven't already, please think about subscribing, and if you hit this little notification bell, I'll send you another video.
So damn, it feels good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it. You can have my last name if you want it. If you want it, if you want it. Dear girl, we don't even have to stop it. Take you higher than a real rocket. You can have my last name if you want it. If you want it, if you want it. But damn, it feels good when you jump on it. Scars on my chest like you own it. You can have my last name if you want it. If you want it, if you want it. Yeah, girl, we don't even have to stop it. Take you higher than a real rocket. You can have my last name if you want it. If you want it, if you want it.
To some, this is just yet another noisy person. Raw but delicate, capable but not dangerous. Oh.
Another car coming, Rog.
Oh,
Join me, Roger Bailey, to find out.